There's a Scotland you've never seen, one carved by ice, guarded by myths, and powered by pure defiance. From the shortest flight on Earth to trees older than history itself, this isn't just a country, it's a story still unfolding. Join me, Andres, from Andy Explores the World, as we explore 21 speechless Scottish secrets that will make you question everything you thought you knew about the Highlands. 1. The Lost Caledonian Forest. Long before Scotland's cities, roads, or castles existed, the Northern Highlands were covered by a vast woodland known as the Caledonian Forest. This ancient wilderness once stretched across the country, filled with towering Scots pines, rowans, birches, and oaks. It was home to red deer, lynx, and wolves that roamed freely through misty glens and shadowed valleys. Over thousands of years, human farming and logging reduced this forest to only small, surviving fragments scattered around the highlands. These remnants are precious because their trees descend directly from those that first took root after the Ice Age ended. Today, dedicated conservationists are replanting and restoring parts of this lost wilderness. Walking through it feels like stepping into another time, quiet, wild, and untouched. The Caledonian Forest isn't just part of Scotland's environment, it is a living symbol of its ancient soul and enduring strength. 2. The world's shortest commercial flight. Only in Scotland could a plane trip last less than the time it takes to brew a cup of tea. The world's shortest scheduled flight operates between the Orkney Islands of Westray and Papa Westray, covering just under 2 miles. Depending on the wind, the flight can last as little as 50 seconds, officially less than 1 minute from takeoff to landing. The route exists because the islands are separated by rough waters that make ferry travel unreliable in bad weather. It's operated by a small Loganair aircraft carrying a handful of passengers, mail, and sometimes even school children. Locals treat it as an everyday commute, while tourists fly it for the sheer novelty of the experience. Tickets cost about the same as a short taxi ride, yet passengers receive a certificate for completing the world's shortest flight. It's a perfect example of Scotland's practicality mixed with quiet humour, a daily reminder that even the briefest journeys can make history. 3. The hidden city beneath Edinburgh. Beneath the cobblestone streets of Edinburgh's Old Town lies a forgotten world, a maze of buried alleys, rooms and vaults sealed for centuries. These underground chambers were once bustling parts of the city before new buildings were constructed on top, layer by layer. In the 17th and 18th centuries, overcrowding forced poor families, merchants, and criminals to live in these dark spaces. They witnessed plague outbreaks, illegal trading, and ghostly legends that still haunt the city's lore today. When rediscovered in the 20th century, archaeologists found personal belongings, clay pipes, coins, toys, preserved like echoes of another age. Today, some of these eerie tunnels, such as Mary King's Close, are open to visitors who want to explore Edinburgh's city beneath the city. It's a chilling yet fascinating glimpse into Scotland's past, one that proves history isn't always buried deep. Sometimes it's right under your feet. 4. Glasgow, the city that built the world's ships. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, Glasgow was not just a city. It was the beating heart of global shipbuilding. Along the River Clyde, thousands of skilled Scottish workers constructed nearly half of the world's ships at the height of the industry. From mighty ocean liners and warships to elegant steamers and merchant vessels, Clyde built, became a worldwide symbol of quality and pride. These massive shipyards shaped Glasgow's identity, creating generations of engineers, welders, and craftsmen who powered Britain's empire and global trade. The Titanic's sister ship, the RMS Lusitania, and countless Royal Navy vessels all bore the Clyde's mark. Although most of the shipyards closed after the industrial decline of the 20th century, their legacy lives on in Glasgow's museums and restored docks. The city's skyline may have changed, but its spirit of innovation and craftsmanship still echoes where iron met the sea. 5. The banned national dish, haggis. Haggis is more than a meal in Scotland. It's a national symbol, celebrated in poetry, culture, and tradition. This hearty dish, made from minced sheep's organs mixed with oats, onions, and spices, was once everyday food for working families. It's boiled in a sheep's stomach, giving it a distinctive look and flavor that surprises most first-time eaters. Yet strangely, authentic Scottish haggis has been banned from import into the United States since 1971 because it contains sheep lung, which US regulations prohibit in food. That means millions of Scots living abroad have never legally tasted the real thing. Americans rely on modified versions that replace the original ingredients, but none truly match the smoky, peppery bite of the traditional recipe. Despite the ban, haggis remains a proud symbol of Scottish heritage, celebrated every January on Burns Night with whiskey, bagpipes, and the recitation of Robert Burns's famous Address to a Haggis. 6. Loch Morar, the real deep secret. While Loch Ness gets all the fame, Loch Morar quietly holds a more astonishing record. It is the deepest freshwater lake in the entire United Kingdom. Reaching depths of over 1,000 feet, it plunges far below sea level, carved out by glaciers thousands of years ago. Its waters are so dark and still that sunlight barely penetrates, giving it an eerie, mysterious atmosphere. Local legends even claim it hides its own monster, Morag, a cousin of Nessie, though far less famous. The loch's remote surroundings make it one of Scotland's most peaceful and untouched spots, surrounded by rugged mountains and forests. Scientists have studied its unusual water chemistry, finding it incredibly pure and cold year-round. For filmmakers and travelers, Loch Morar is cinematic perfection, haunting, beautiful, and wild. It stands as a reminder that Scotland's greatest wonders often lie beyond the tourist trails, deep and silent beneath the surface. 7. Standing stones older than the pyramids. Long before Egypt's pharaohs raised their pyramids, the people of Scotland were already erecting mysterious stone monuments. The standing stones scattered across the Scottish countryside, such as those in Callanish on the Isle of Lewis, date back more than 5,000 years. These massive stones, perfectly aligned with the movements of the sun and moon, were likely used for rituals, astronomical observations, or tribal gatherings. Each stone was dragged for miles across harsh terrain using ropes and manpower alone, a feat that still amazes modern engineers. The Callanish stones form a cruciform pattern, creating a haunting silhouette against the island's windswept skies. Legends say they were once giants turned to stone for refusing to convert to Christianity. Today, these sites remain places of awe and mystery, reminders that ancient Scots understood the rhythms of nature and the heavens long before modern civilization even began. 8. The Fortingall Yew, Europe's oldest living thing. Deep in the heart of Perthshire stands a tree so ancient that it has witnessed almost all of human history, the Fortingall Yew. Estimated to be between 3,000 and 5,000 years old, it may be the oldest living organism in Europe. This gnarled, hollow tree grows in a quiet churchyard, surrounded by stone walls and soft moss, giving it an almost sacred aura. Local legends claim it was already old when Pontius Pilate was born nearby, though historians doubt that part of the tale. Over centuries, parts of the tree have died, regenerated, and even formed new shoots, allowing it to survive far longer than typical yews. Scientists say it has endured thanks to Scotland's cool, damp climate and its protected location. Standing before it feels humbling, as if nature itself refuses to yield to time. The Fortingall yew isn't just a tree, it's a living monument to Scotland's eternal spirit. 9. The lost Scottish colony in Panama. In the late 17th century, Scotland launched one of its most ambitious and disastrous ventures, a colonial settlement in Panama called the Darien Scheme. The plan was to establish a trading post on the Isthmus of Panama, linking the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. Thousands of Scots invested their life savings in the project, hoping to turn their small nation into a global trading power. But the expedition faced brutal tropical heat, disease, starvation, and hostility from Spanish forces. Within months, the colony collapsed, and most settlers perished or fled. The financial loss was so massive, it nearly bankrupted Scotland, leading many historians to believe it pushed the country toward uniting with England in 1707. Today, the story of Darien stands as both a tragedy and a lesson in ambition, a tale of courage, miscalculation, and the dream of a global Scotland that drowned in the swamps of Panama. 10. The mystery of the Lewis Chessmen. Discovered in 1831 on the Isle of Lewis in Scotland's Outer Hebrides, the Lewis chessmen are among the most fascinating medieval artifacts ever found. Carved from walrus, ivory, and whale teeth, these chess pieces date back to the 12th century and are believed to have been made in Norway during the Viking era. Their expressions, wide-eyed kings, fierce knights, and anxious-looking queens, capture a strangely human emotion for their time. Historians think the set was lost or buried during a storm or shipwreck before being found hidden in a sand dune. Today, some pieces are displayed in the British Museum in London, while others rest in Edinburgh. The mystery of who carved them and why they were abandoned has never been solved. They remain haunting reminders of Scotland's deep Norse connections, tiny faces frozen in ivory that whisper tales of conquest, art, and forgotten journeys. 11. The Isle of Eigg, a people's island. Off Scotland's western coast lies the Isle of Eigg, a small island with a big story of independence. Once privately owned, Egg's residents decided in 1997 to buy their home collectively and run it themselves. They raised the funds through community effort, donations, and government support, becoming one of the first examples of successful community land ownership in Europe. Today, around 100 locals manage the island's resources, renewable energy, and tourism cooperatively, making decisions through open meetings. Eigg now produces nearly all its electricity from wind, sun, and water, making it one of the greenest communities in the world. The islanders maintain a balance between sustainability and preserving traditional life, a rare success in modern rural living. The Isle of Eigg proves that even a tiny community can control its destiny, showing the world that real independence begins with unity, courage, and a shared dream. 12. The Bell Rock Lighthouse, Engineering Against the Sea. Standing proudly off Scotland's east coast, the Belrock Lighthouse is the world's oldest surviving sea-washed lighthouse, built in 1811. What makes it extraordinary is that it was constructed directly on a submerged reef that disappears completely at high tide. Designed by the brilliant engineer Robert Stevenson, it took nearly 4 years to build under brutally dangerous conditions. Workers could only access the site for a few hours each day before the sea swallowed the rock again. Every stone was precisely cut to interlock like puzzle pieces, allowing the structure to withstand the North Sea's fierce storms for more than 2 centuries. Amazingly, it still operates today, automated, yet functional, flashing its light across the waves just as it did in the age of sail. The Belrock Lighthouse isn't just a marvel of engineering. It's a monument to human determination against one of nature's most unforgiving forces. Scotland, the land of invention. Scotland's influence on the modern world reaches far beyond kilts and castles. It's a birthplace of groundbreaking inventions. The Scots gave humanity the hypodermic syringe, the pedal bicycle, and even the adhesive postage stamp. These creations reflect the country's centuries-old culture of problem-solving and curiosity. In the 19th century, Scottish inventors shaped daily life everywhere, from Alexander Fleming discovering penicillin to Alexander Graham Bell transforming communication with the telephone. Even the first color photograph was taken by a Scotsman. What's remarkable is how such a small nation has consistently produced thinkers whose work changed global health, science, and industry. Many historians argue that the Scottish Enlightenment laid the foundation for modern innovation itself. Today, universities in Edinburgh, Glasgow, and St. Andrews continue that legacy, proving that ingenuity runs deep in Scottish blood, a tradition where imagination meets precision and ideas reshape the world. 14. The language without yes or no. The Scottish Gaelic language holds one of the most fascinating quirks in linguistics. It has no direct words for yes or no. Instead, Gaelic speakers respond by echoing the verb in the question. For example, if asked, "Do you understand?" a Gaelic speaker would reply, "I understand," or "I do not understand." This unique structure reflects how Gaelic is rooted in action and context rather than simple affirmation. It may sound confusing to English ears, but it creates richer, more specific conversations where clarity depends on meaning, not single words. The rhythm of Gaelic speech, its poetic flow, and deep ties to nature has helped shape the Scottish way of expression. Though fewer people speak it today, efforts to revive the language through schools and media are growing. Gaelic remains not just a tongue, but a reflection of how Scots once saw the world, through living, doing, and storytelling. 15. Irn-Bru, the other national drink. While Scotland is world famous for whiskey, its true everyday national drink is a bright orange soda called Irn-Bru. This fizzy beverage, born in the early 1900s, outsells Coca-Cola across much of Scotland, an astonishing feat few countries can claim. Its secret recipe, known only to a handful of people, creates a flavor that's hard to describe, a mix of fruit, spice, and nostalgia. Often nicknamed Scotland's other national drink, Irn-Bru has become a cultural icon, featured in bold advertising campaigns that celebrate Scottish humour and defiance. It's the go-to cure for hangovers, heartbreak, and homesickness alike. Many Scots who move abroad miss it more than any other food or drink from home. The brand's famous slogan, made in Scotland from girders, captures its proud identity, strong, colourful, and unmistakably Scottish. In a land of legends, Irn-Bru proves even a soda can become a national treasure. 16. The Orkney Islands, Europe's ancient heart. Far to the north of mainland Scotland lie the Orkney Islands, home to one of the densest collections of prehistoric sites in all of Europe. These windswept islands boast stone circles, burial mounds, and villages that predate Stonehenge by centuries. The most famous site, Skara Brae, is a perfectly preserved Neolithic settlement over 5,000 years old, complete with stone furniture, hearths, and narrow passageways connecting its homes. Archaeologists believe Orkney was once a centre of power and culture that influenced the entire British Isles. Unlike many ancient ruins, these sites still sit in their natural setting, surrounded by cliffs and sea spray, creating a hauntingly timeless atmosphere. The island's isolation has preserved both the ruins and their mysteries. For anyone exploring Scotland's ancient roots, Orkney feels like stepping directly into humanity's earliest chapter, a silent landscape where civilization first took shape. 17. The word slogan was born in battle. Every time we hear a catchy advertising phrase, we're unknowingly speaking a bit of Scottish history. The word slogan comes from the old Gaelic term Sluach Gaim, meaning battle cry or war shout. Ancient Scottish clans would roar their own Sluach Gaim when charging into combat, a cry meant to rally their warriors and strike fear into the enemy. Over time, the term evolved from the field of battle into politics, religion, and eventually marketing, keeping its original power to unite people behind a cause. This linguistic journey perfectly mirrors the Scottish character, fierce, expressive, and endlessly inventive with language. Modern advertisers may use slogans to sell products, but their roots lie in the same passion and loyalty that once held clans together. It's proof that Scotland's influence echoes not only in inventions and discoveries, but even in the very words people still shout across the world today. 18. The Selkies, Scotland's shape-shifting legends. Among Scotland's many coastal myths, few are as enchanting as the tales of the Selkies, mysterious seal-like creatures said to shed their skins and live as humans on land. According to folklore, from the Orkney and Shetland Islands, a Selkie could remove its sleek seal coat, revealing a beautiful man or woman beneath. If a human stole that skin, the Selkie would be trapped in human form, often leading to haunting stories of love and loss between land and sea. Many old fishing communities believed sightings of Selkies foretold storms or tragedy. These myths reveal the deep emotional bond Scots have with the sea, both provider and destroyer. In literature and film, the Selkie remains a symbol of longing, transformation, and freedom. Whether real or not, their legend continues to ripple through Scottish culture like a timeless tide, where mystery meets melancholy under the northern waves. 19. Scotland, the Kingdom of Gin. Few people realise that Scotland, known for whisky, actually produces around 70% of all gin made in the United Kingdom. This modern craft revolution began in the early 2000s, when small distilleries started experimenting with wild Scottish botanicals, heather, rowan berries, and sea kelp, to create unique, locally inspired flavours. Today, names like Hendrick's, The Botanist, and Edinburgh Gin have turned Scotland into a global gin powerhouse. Distilleries now outnumber many whisky producers scattered from the lowlands to the remote Hebrides. The purity of Scottish water, combined with centuries of distilling knowledge, gives its gins unmatched clarity and character. What's fascinating is how gin, once viewed as an English drink, has found its true modern home north of the border. From elegant cocktail bars in Edinburgh to rustic Highland lodges, Scottish gin represents a perfect blend of heritage and innovation, refined, wild, and unmistakably Scottish. 2. Scotland's fearless national motto. Scotland's national motto, Nemo me impune lacessit, translates to, "No one provokes me with impunity." In plain words, it means, "Mess with me and you'll regret it." This bold Latin phrase has been used for centuries on coins, royal crests, and military badges, reflecting Scotland's fierce pride and resilience. It first appeared with the Order of the Thistle, Scotland's highest chivalric order, and later became a rallying symbol for the soldiers across the world. Even the thistle itself, Scotland's national emblem, carries the same message: beautiful, but don't touch. The motto perfectly captures the nation's spirit of courage, defiance, and independence. Whether facing invaders, harsh weather, or economic hardship, Scots have always met challenges head-on. It's more than just a phrase. It's an attitude woven into the country's history, a proud reminder that in Scotland, bravery is not an option. It's a birthright. 21. Giants of the Deep, Scotland's marine wonders. Scotland's waters are a hidden paradise for marine life, home to creatures that few expect to find so close to Europe's shores. Along its rugged coasts, you can spot basking sharks, gentle giants that grow over 20 feet long and glide just beneath the surface. Pods of orcas, dolphins, and even humpback whales visit Scotland's western seas each summer, drawn by rich feeding grounds and cold, clean currents. The Hebrides and Shetland Islands are among the best places in the world to see these majestic animals in the wild. Local boat tours often encounter seals basking on rocks or eagles diving for fish above turquoise bays. This incredible biodiversity exists because of Scotland's unique mix of Arctic and Atlantic waters. It's a reminder that the country's greatest treasures aren't only on land or in legend, they also move silently beneath the waves, timeless and free. 21 Facts, Endless Wonder. Scotland proves that history and mystery walk hand in hand. Like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know which country's secrets you want revealed next. This is Andy Explores the World, signing off from the Highlands.